Okay, we're back on the yoke discussion. A couple of things I wanted to point out. What I've done with these two units, the stock yoke, unmodified, and our custom yoke, or any of the yokes that we modified to fit the torque box, what I've done is pulled them out 3/4 of an inch from being bottomed out. Look at the difference that we have there. Here's your rotating mass on this end. Here's your support bushing. Same thing. Look how much further away your rotating mass is from the support bushing. That is vibration. That's going to cause some wobble at the yoke. So this is why we modify it. It is a uniquely short torque box, and it requires that short and undercut yoke. Now, a couple other things I want to point out about the yoke. When we do modify, besides shortening the barrel and cutting the spline back, what we call undercut, we're undercutting, we're also doing a inside and outside chamfer, and that's really important. You can't just hack them off. You're going to have sharp edges. You've got to chamfer, have a nice chamfer so you don't damage the seal going in and out when you're doing your install, pushing it in through the seal. You don't want to damage the seal. You've got to have the chamfer. Now, at a 3/4 inch pullout, that's a lot more than some applications would need. And again, the closer we can keep this rotating mass to the bushing, the smoother it's going to run. So it depends on your suspension, your car, and how it's used. For example, if you've got a highway cruiser, a small motor, independent rear suspension, you're going to have very, very little drive shaft movement under hard load, hard acceleration, or hard decel. The drive shaft length is going to change very little because of that low power and the type of suspension you're running. So you can run with only a 1/2 inch of pullout, pretty much be the minimum, a 1/2 inch. Or say even in a pickup truck where you have multiple drive shafts, a 2-piece, it's the rear shaft at from the carrier bearing to the rear axle is where you're going to have your movement. The forward shaft to the torque box is not going to move. So again, you can go just a 1/2 inch, just stay on the safe side, a 1/2 inch of pullout from being bottomed, that clunk, just pull it out a 1/2 inch. If you have coil spring suspension, you need it out a little bit more. We could say 5/8 of an inch. You'll see a lot of comments on the internet, some of the chat groups, where it's 3/4 to 1 inch. Everybody's just saying, automatically pull it out 3/4 to 1 inch and get your drive shaft measurement. That would be an awful lot for an IRS suspension, even a coil spring. Leaf spring usually has the most drive shaft movement. If it's a single drive shaft, one tube, and leaf springs, and now take that vehicle and put slicks on it and take it to the drag strip, where you're really with a big motor and you're really putting some power to it, you're going to have a lot more place. So yes, then maybe you need 1 inch of pullout. So it's really specific to your application. You want to get the drive shaft done once. It's expensive. You don't want to have to be going back and forth. So let's get the measurement right. And once we've got that pullout right where we want it, then we're going to measure from the center line to the diff or to the carrier bearing to give the drive shaft the measurement they're asking for. Lean on your integrator if you're not doing this yourself, and as well as the DriveLine shop is making the modification, making the drive shaft, and get their advice also. Keeping in mind they may not be familiar with the torque box. Like I said, the general rule of thumb is 3/4 to 1 inch, and that's way too much pullout for a lot of applications. So lean on them, but if you have a question, if we can help at all, let's talk about your specific application and get it done right the first time. Thank you.